All right, hello everyone. I'm Lonnie.
I'm Amberlicious.
We are Untitled Network. This is our third ever Sopranos episode review. The episode is called "Denial, Anger, Acceptance," and I'd say that this one was a pretty good one too. Um, oh Lord, what do we got? Okay, so we have like their little dinner party, which Artie and his wife catered. They're the ones who lost their
Restaurant.
your restaurant. That was in the pilot, or like, yeah, it was in the
That was in
pilot.
the pilot.
And
Where they lost the restaurant. And they're struggling. They've had to downgrade in houses where they were.
yeah,
Um, so they have having a fundraiser there at the house, and Carmela invites them to cater it, try and help them out, pay them, get them back on their feet. And during the party, Carmela beckons Artie's wife. I forget her name. And when she beckons to her like servant, and she's not happy about that because they're supposed to be that and then they've been friends a long time. And later on in the show, she's feeling real petty about it. So she tells Carmela that she slept with Tony while they were on a break. Basically.
yeah, back before they were married.
Yeah. And like, what on earth? I couldn't even I was like, that's what she did? And then Carmela was just kind of shocked by it, but you don't really know how she feels about it, honestly. It doesn't go into detail. Yeah, I'm sure that'll be addressed in the next episode or something.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna tell you right now, if somebody told that to me, if I was in that situation, I would just been like, okay, who gives a shit? Especially if it was a long time ago and it really don't matter.
And you were broke up with a guy at the time.
Yeah,
You know?
yeah, it really doesn't. But it seems like Artie's wife now, the reason she's so against taking help from Tony is because she wishes she had chose that life. I think she's jealous.
Ooh, yeah. Yeah,
because she went into the whole spiel of we've made our choices and I'm happy. I don't think you are.
No,
actually.
she's not.
I think you're really jealous of the life you could have had. I think it was all great, and then you lost your business, and yeah.
Well, the big looming cloud over this episode was Tony's friend Jackie is battling cancer, and he goes from the beginning of the episode looking good, like, hey, he might beat this, to at the end looking like,
yeah,
not looking good.
Yeah, he was running a high fever, and he didn't look well at the show. Whereas, at the beginning, they brought him gifts. They all came and saw him.
They brought him a woman.
Yeah, Tony brought him a friend.
A friend. That was a neat little scene.
It was so funny because you wondered where it was going. Because I was legitly fooled because I thought, I just knew that was some kind of mental patient that
yeah,
escaped from a room or something, and Tony had really paid her.
Yeah. Like, hey, nipples.
Yeah.
That's always a highlight of an episode for me. Look, titties.
No, I think we should count how many episodes we don't see nipples.
Well, so far we're 0 for 3.
0 for 3, yeah.
There have been there's been at least a bare breast in every episode so far.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, the probably that right there. What we just discussed was most of the episode. There were two other plot points.
Yeah.
One was Meadow and her weird friend. There's something about that friend.
She's just a bad influence. She's just more of a rebel. It's the typical story of a decent girl, daughter and then she gets in with the wrong crowd, and then
Yeah.
starts doing the wrong thing, starts rebelling even more. You know, especially like what usually happens is like typically in this kind of scenario is like even though it's like the good daughter, she also has her issues at home.
Yeah.
You know, kind of tell that her parents aren't getting along as much as they used to, and she's older, so she's noticing more things that are different. I'm sure she's noticing, her dad doesn't, have the normal 9 to 5 job.
Oh yeah, yeah, of course.
And so it's a lot to take in for a teenager, especially a teenage girl.
And like they spend a chunk of the episode trying to get crystal meth from Christopher and Brendan, and
yeah,
Christopher finally gives it to her.
And I wondered why they even wanted it to begin with. But
they were doing it to like stay awake.
Yeah, and they were literally just like, she's like, oh, well, that'll help us, that'll help us stay awake for SATs, because they both want to get the hell out of Jersey.
Yeah, and I feel like it's not a drug thing. It's seriously them wanting to use it.
Yeah.
Of course, that's how it starts.
That is how it starts. I mean, there's a reason, they say meth just one time.
I sat in on a talk one. I'm not going to spend too much time on this, but I sat in on a little talk one time that a guy gave years back where he was actually a very wealthy individual that owned like a sanitation, surprisingly, waste management.
Yeah.
And he did it specifically to lose weight.
Yeah.
And he ended up becoming addicted to it and just...
Because it's that addictive.
Yep.
The high is that addictive. But, yeah, their cousin giving it to them. Don't want them going on the wrong side of town.
Yeah, and I've seen that argument before sometimes.
Trust me, I've seen that.
That's been a big argument. It was like, I mean, even like without throwing like too much personal stuff out there, like whenever I was a teenager, my mom would let me have girls over in my room with the door locked and let us do whatever we wanted. Because she didn't want us to be like caught by a cop out in public,
Yeah,
or something.
Absolutely.
So I can kind of see that mentality. Of course, people are like looking at me now, thinking that's what's up with.
Oh Lord,
no. In hindsight, seriously, that was probably a really good thing. Because in my mom's defense, she also, really pushed like, being safe and condom use.
To say like,
a lot of good that did, but anyway.
You were right. You obviously didn't listen. How old's your son?
Anyway. So segueing from the crystal meth thing and into the episode pretty much ends with Christopher being...
Well, we have one other plot point before we get to that one. The Jewish hotel.
Yes, okay, so they get, they have this, like a friend to one of the guys, these Jewish hotel owners, the man's son-in-law, basically runs the hotel. Like the father owns it, son-in-law runs it day to day, and the father says that the son-in-law is abusing his daughter and stuff like that, and I'm kind of getting the idea like maybe that abuse wasn't really happening.
No.
Do you think it was?
Yeah.
Okay.
Just because he helped build that business up doesn't mean he was not abused.
Yeah, but it seemed like that was like an afterthought. They mentioned it right when they made the deal, and it was never brought up again. And I just...
Well, yeah, because the reason it was never brought up again, because all that man was worried about was getting his fair share. That's all he was concerned about.
It's like he was wanting half the hotel.
Yeah.
And they, Phil and Polly...
And that's how abusers work.
Yeah.
I mean, like, oh, okay. well, you're gonna have to give me all this to get rid of me. You know.
So they go and basically over the course of a couple of days, like torture the hell out of this guy, and he refuses to give in, and they can't kill him because they promised the father that they wasn't going to do it, and so Tony calls up his old school buddy that he always looks to for advice and stuff, and the guy's like, hey, there's one thing that a man can't live without, and so it's implied that they threatened to cut off his dick.
Yeah, they threatened castration.
Yep, and so the son-in-law ends up striking a deal up with the dad for 15% instead of 50%, and will divorce the daughter. And so
he thought he was going to take that out of Tony's 25.
Yeah, so the dad's like, the dad's
okay.
like, here, you're not gonna, get that. I'm giving him 15%. Here's you an envelope full of money for your trouble. And Tony's like, oh hell no. And he's like, nope, I get my 25%. The 15% you gave him comes out of your cut. Don't try to screw me over. And like throws the guy up against the wall and threatens him and everything.
Mm-hmm.
And then after that, Tony goes to Meadows' recital or chorus thing or whatever you call it. I was never big into that. But he goes there and has kind of an emotional moment watching his daughter sing.
Of course, she's like high as hell on stage.
Yeah, and then Christopher and Brendan kind of get a rude awakening. Christopher gets dragged out to a dock, a gun held to his head, and
because Junior's jealous.
Yeah, Junior's pissed, and rightfully so. I understand that. I know Junior is kind of a hothead, and full of himself, and probably doesn't even need to be in power anymore. But at the same time, he was rightfully pissed about Christopher because they were screwing over his jobs, and it really didn't seem like anything was being done about it. And I guess he figured he had to make
a slap on the wrist, and he wasn't happy about it. I mean, Christopher wasn't involved in the second one.
Well, yeah, true.
So, I mean, seriously, he wasn't involved in the second one. And then they did return the truck, but of course, they said thank Tony Soprano for it.
Yeah, and so they
really shouldn't have done that because the people said they were going to call the police and be like, "Those people killed the driver." Yeah. Now Christopher's probably about to go down for something he didn't do.
Well, they
shot Brendan.
Yeah, they killed Brendan at the end.
I told Lonnie good riddance because I didn't like him anyway. He was a drug addict that was making crazy decisions. Stayed high 20.
Yes.
And then he started hitting on Tony's daughter, and so that's when I was like, okay, no.
He hit on both of the girls. Yeah. They were what, 16?
Yeah.
And
possibly younger.
I think they're driving age.
Are they driving? I don't think so. I want to say they're like 15.
I don't know.
Think they're driving age.
For some reason that makes it even worse. But yeah, they end up, doing all that, and then so the first time I ever watched that episode, they pulled the gun on Christopher and pulled the trigger and it clicked. I actually thought that this is weird. This was me painting a picture that wasn't there.
Okay.
When I first time I ever saw this was like last year, and maybe I wasn't quite paying attention or anything, but when they pulled the trigger and the gun clicked and the guy kind of did the what do they call the Hail Mary or whatever. I thought that they were going to try to kill Christopher, but for some reason, like the gun misfired or something like that.
It was meant to scare him.
Yeah. And I was like, oh, man, they thought.
And then, of course, in his panic, he thought it was because he got the crystal meth to Tony's daughter, so he started confessing. And it's like, not only is he probably going to get framed for something he didn't do, he has also confessed his sin about giving Tony's daughter drugs.
But I don't know if those guys were even really paying attention when that.
I'm sure they were. Okay.
You think so?
Are you kidding me right now?
I mean, it was such an intense moment. I figured
Yeah.
they,
I'm sure they were listening to every word. And they're probably going to go tell Junior.
woo.
So.
All right. So yeah, we got that, and I feel like there was like one more little.
The therapist session.
Yeah, the therapist sessions, and she's really chipping away at Tony,
She's
and
trying her best.
the closer she gets to that core of his issues, the more violent he gets, the more.
So what's the name of this episode again?
um
Thought you'd know.
I had it pulled up, but no, you got to remember I didn't get enough sleep last night. My memory's not. Oh my god! Apparently, I had screwed up on Google. Like I had Google open in my lap, and at some point I screwed up and hit the
It's denial, anger, acceptance.
yeah, something like that. But anyway, I had screwed up and hit the little microphone button where you can talk and do a search, and it picked up our entire review on here. Something about meatloaf.
Right.
Denial, anger, acceptance, season 1, episode 3.
Basically what Tony's going through. Like he denies that he has a problem, and then when he figures out he has a problem, he's very angry about it, but he hasn't accepted that yet.
Oh yeah, these episode titles have meaning.
Yeah. I mean,
he's been seeing a lot of messages and paintings. That was
what it started out, because he in denial. He thinks this therapist is
screwing with him,
or
trying to trick him into giving some info up.
Yeah, like, you trying to trick me, and like, hey, what do you think? And then when she started giving her honest opinion about her friend's cancer, boy, that really sent.
Okay,
you don't know what you're talking about.
I know we are recording right now, but apparently our camera has froze up.
Oh no.
So I'm not totally sure. I guess we'll just roll with this.
Yeah.
At least y'all are getting the audio, but something has happened to our camera.
Oh shit. Oh. I think it was just maybe the screen.
I fixed it.
Yeah,
maybe. I don't know if that was frozen or what. Let it go.
We'll have to look at it later.
Yeah. Regardless, it's still going to air. So yeah, that was it. So what do you give this episode?
This was actually a really good episode. I'm gonna give it a 9. I'm gonna give it a 9. It wasn't like overly good, you know what I mean? But there was a lot going on. A lot happened. So many plots going on.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed it. Like,
I'm gonna give it an 8, and a 9. I'm gonna give it a 9. I would have given it an 8, but they killed Brendan, so that's worth a point.
Yeah, absolutely. God, good riddance. Because, seriously, like, probably 5 minutes into the episode, I was thinking, somebody do something. I really was. I was like, they just get rid of him. And then it got even worse when he hit on the girls.
I feel like
I really want somebody to do something to him. And they fucking killed him, and I was like, I'm already being rewarded. I love this.
I feel like Brendan is like the perfect poster child for the people who stormed the Capitol.
Yeah.
He would be right at home in that crowd, I think.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know.
But
I think that's a little much for old Brandon. I didn't like him, but
it's like he's not that organized. He doesn't have that much.
He don't have that much.
I can't think of the word.
He's too consumed with his own world right
now.
Yeah,
my vocabulary is suffering right now because I only got like 4.5 hours of sleep last night. Therein lies the problem where I'm not able to give as good a review. But yeah, I give it a 9. It would have been an 8, but they killed Brendan, so bonus point. And there's going to be a lot of that. I'll be like, well, the episode would have been this, but you know what? We get a bonus point for this. So Yep. So that's it. We'll be back here in a few days with episode 4. No telling what's going to happen in that one, but yeah, you can already feel the anticipation, like
Yeah.
it's just
It's
getting a
been
little
like that though
yeah.
since episode 1. Like this is a really good show.
Yep.
The storyline is active enough. Cannot wait to see the next time.
I am so glad that I didn't have to set week to week a lot of these.
Oh yeah.
Because I had already, I didn't even start watching this show until, God, it was already more than halfway done. Even then, I got into it. Because this is one of those shows that you can watch. You could pick up in the middle of season 3 and just start watching it. And I mean, yeah, there was some stuff. There's some references to stuff that happened and earlier, but it you don't have to watch this entire series to be able to enjoy it. You could just watch an episode and it's like, holy shit, it's good. Let's keep going. That kind of thing. So anyway, yep, that's it for this one. I'm Lonnie.
I'm Amberlicious.
We are Untitled Nerd Network. We'll see y'all next time for another Sopranos review.